These are words you never want to hear when you're on a plane. Attention passengers, is there anyone on board who can fly this plane? You do not want to hear that. I heard that one night in my dream. I was in my dream and I was flying in this airplane midway through, so over the Atlantic on my way to a pilgrimage in Rome. And the person sitting next to me says, "Did the stewardess just ask what I think the stewardess asked?" And I said, "Yes." And there was this complete pandemonium among all the passengers on the plane. And I waited, and I waited for the question. Is there a Catholic priest on board? And I popped up, I'm like, that's me. Because like every Catholic priest dreams of this, right? The moment in which a plane's going to go down and he can stand up and give general absolution to everyone, forgives all their sins, and administers last rites. Well, I'm getting ready to do this. And then some fellow behind me also steps up. And he says, "I'm a pilot." And he goes up and he steers the plane, and he saves the day. I wake up from the dream at that point with this word off of my lips. Dag-nabbit. I thought of that story of a dream from many years ago when I was reading today's gospel. A man travels abroad. The story that Jesus tells is a parable from Mark 13, about a man, a master of a household, traveling abroad. It made me think about travel. You know, travel today is very different than travel in Jesus' day, in so many ways. Travel today, you have an itinerary. You hand it to loved ones. You go travel abroad, like overseas. And any weather or mechanical problems or whatever, you're usually back the day you say you're going to be back, if not the hour your itinerary says you're going to be back. And your loved ones can expect that. And if not, you'll get a text as a loved one and, hey, the flight's delayed by an hour or two or whatever. That's not the case in Jesus' day. Very different. In Jesus' day, there are any number of things that can delay a person, a loved one, when they travel abroad. And not by an hour or a day, but by months and sometimes even longer. Like St. Paul's journey, one of his 3 journeys across the Roman Empire. He is delayed, and then when he gets to the port city, it's now winter, and so he has to wait in the port for a couple months for a boat to leave, and then when he leaves, he gets shipwrecked, and he remains shipwrecked there for however long. And he gets back months and months after he expects to get home. That's the conditions during Jesus' day. It could be marauders, it could be weather, it could be the seasons, it could be disease, it could be war, it could be famine, it could be the food and water and access to it, it could be travel sickness or disease, and no access to a hospital. So, with that background in mind, when Jesus tells this parable to his Jewish brothers and sisters, the people of his day, they get it. A man travels abroad, and he says to his stewards who are keeping his household, "You don't know when I'm going to get back, but be ready." And how does he get them ready. He gives them, well, they're stewards of the household. So he gives them an identity and he gives them a mission. So for some of them, for instance, they are to feed the children, care for the wife. They are to work the fields. He's a master of a household, not just a house, but an estate usually. They're to take care of the cattle and the other livestock. They're to care for the people of the village that he's in charge of, or villages that he's in charge of. They're to protect the household from anyone breaking in and stealing things, or worse, doing terrible things to his children and to his wife and to the other extended family members. They're stewards of the household. And he says to them, so you know that you don't know when I'm going to get back. It could be I'm long delayed, and it could be in the morning, and it could be in the day, it could be in the night. But be ready. Meaning, when I get back, I want to see that you're doing all that you said that you would do. And that I put you in charge of, and that I entrusted to you. Because if you don't, you know the consequences. The consequences are your own choice also. And if you choose not to care for the household that cares for you, then when I get back, you will have no household. And you'll be out in that cruel and hostile world on your own. And everyone will know that you are not a reliable steward. Well, that background is the background to understand that the parable and the master in the parable is Jesus. Jesus is the master of the household of God. And he's about ready to go away. He's about ready to travel abroad. And the abroad, that faraway place is heaven. He's going back home to his Father, to his kingdom in heaven. But before he goes, he's going to appoint stewards of his household. What is his household? It's his church. It's the world. It's the people of the world. It's the earth. It's the souls of other people. This is his household. And he's appointing his disciples, you and I, back then and now, to care for what is of value to him. And what is most valuable to him is all of you. And he's asking all of you to care for one another and everyone else that he puts you in charge of. And who are they? The rest of the world. We're responsible for our brothers and sisters. We are our brother's keeper and our sister's keeper. We are the stewards of God's household. And he's saying to us, you don't know when I'm going to return again. And that's true, we don't know when he's going to return again. At the fullness of time, when he comes again, a second time, or when he comes in each of our own time, when our time is up. But he does say to us, you don't know when I'm going to come again, so be ready. And then he gives us the way to be ready. For us to value what he values. For us to know that he, as the master of our lives, has always cared for us. And all he's doing is asking us to care for one another. And if we are busy about these things, then we will be ready. We won't be caught off guard. And we will, in fact, not only remain in his household, but we will go to the household, his Father's house, that he has gone to prepare a place for us, as Jesus teaches us. And that's really what Advent is. Advent is the season of our life that recurs every year of our lives for a purpose. Two purposes, in fact. The first purpose is this, is that as we're readying ourselves for Christmas, we're remembering a promise fulfilled. And as we remember that promise fulfilled, then we remember that he made another promise that he'll return. And then we ready ourselves for his return. That's Advent. This Advent season, we are not supposed to live like the rest of the people in our ever-increasing secular society. They use these holiday season for parties, for a lot of eating and a lot of drinking, for a lot of shopping, for using that most sacred of days for just gathering of family, giving of gifts, and a paid holiday. That is not Christmas. Christmas is a promise fulfilled, right? And so we ready ourselves. It doesn't mean that we don't go to parties during this time, or that we don't buy gifts and exchange gifts on Christmas. Just that doesn't crowd out what Advent is getting us ready for. A Savior in our world who says he's coming again. And then with that in mind, we go for the rest of the year then, remembering, because of Advent and Christmas, that we celebrate properly, fully. He's coming again. And I'm his steward. I'm the steward of my spouse in God's household. I'm the steward of my children. I'm the steward of parishioners who have long ago left these pews. I'm the steward of this world. And if I value what God values, his people, in my own soul, my own life, and I spend my days first and foremost doing the work of a good steward, then I will forever celebrate his second promise fulfilled, forever in heaven, and with all those that I have stewarded.